Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with our Ezreal basic. And now Ezreal is one of the safest ADCs to play, the other being Xayah. Of course, he has an Arcane Shift, which is basically like a flash on a basic ability, where he is able to, of course, blink a short distance, basically a flash, and deal a little bit of damage as well while he is at it. He also has pretty long range and really good poke using his Q, which has a really low cooldown and does really decent damage. However, all of his skills are skill shots, so his W is a skill shot, his Q is a skill shot, and his ulti is a skill shot. So he is a relatively difficult champion to play because if you don't hit your skill shots, you basically do very little damage with your auto attacks. But with all that said, let's jump into the practice tool and talk about what exactly his passive is. Did I say his passive? I meant what exactly his skills are. But anyways, we are already here. So let's head straight over to here and let's spawn an enemy dummy so we can explain what happens. So his passive is called Rising Spell Force. Basically, every time one of your spells hits an enemy, you gain bonus attack speed. So anyways, here you can see we have really slow attack speed. We hit a Q. Let's put ourselves to 0 cooldown. Here we get 1 stack, which gives us extra 10% attack speed. Each stack gives 10% attack speed. We get another one, 2 stacks, 20% attack speed. 3 stacks, 4 stacks is the maximum. Here we get 40% extra attack speed. As you guys can see, we're attacking really quickly. When you hit ability, that timer is going to refresh. 4 stacks is the max, and you can see that lasts for 8 seconds, and that is the timer. Whenever you hit another spell, this is going to refresh. Okay, we didn't manage to hit it in time, but here you guys can see we stack up to 4. And the timer is running down from 8 seconds all the way to nothing. And whenever you hit a spell, this timer is going to refresh. And we are, of course, able to just continue attacking with our bonus attack speed. You can see that when this timer falls off, you can see your attack speed is suddenly going to be, a lot lower like that. You can see the huge difference in attack speed here. Now we're going to talk about his other abilities. So here we're going to, of course, level up just a little bit first to get all of our abilities. So the first ability is the one that you've seen, is your bread and butter ability, which is that your poke tool is Q at relatively long range. You guys can see here, shoots, basically just a bullet or like a spell, I guess you could say, and of course does damage. So it can be blocked, so you can only attack the first target. You cannot hit the people behind. So if there's a front line, you're gonna have to attack the front line. You can't actually attack the back line. Something else to note is this procs unhit effects. So it procs things like Kraken Slayer, things like Sheen, for example. It does proc unhit effects. Second ability you have is your W. So your W actually, before we talk about that, something I forgot to mention is your Q reduces the cooldown of all of your abilities by 1.5 seconds when you hit. So for example, here if I turn off the 0 cooldown, you can see here my E has a 26-second cooldown, 25, 24. When I hit Q, you can see that the cooldown just reduces by 1.5 seconds, and that's something you do want to take note of. So landing your Q becomes even more important. Next up is your W. So your W, again, is another skill shot. Fires a ring, which attaches to an enemy like that. And when you attack, you actually pop the ring and restore mana, dealing magic damage. So here, you get the ring attached, you pop the ring, boom, like that. So something you want to take note of with this ability is the fact that it does also work against towers and epic monsters. So here, I'm gonna quickly clear out this wave. To demonstrate how it works. So you guys can see here, as the next wave comes in, that you can actually attach it to the tower like that and pop it. So this of course helps you to push faster. This does really decent damage. So you do want to throw this onto the tower and of course use it whenever it's available. Now we can't demonstrate the epic monster one yet because they have not spawned yet, but later on when they spawn we're going to show that. So next up you actually have your E. So what your E does is it's a small blink. As you guys can see, it's a targeted dash. It has pretty long range. You can see here it reaches up to the nexus, whereas my flash doesn't even reach that long. So it's like longer range than flash. You land, like for example, I'm going to stand in the middle of this dragon circle. I'm going to go all the way here like that, and I flash. I'm not going to reach back to the center. So it's a longer range than flash. What it does is also you can see the inner circle is the range of where you blink, but you can see that within that circle there's a bigger circle, and this circle basically shows the range of doing damage to enemies. So here you guys can see when I blink, you can see I fire a shot which attacked this guy. Of course, you can attack a different guys, but it's gonna attack your nearest target. However, if you have a ring, instead of attacking the nearest target, it's going to attack someone with the ring. So for example, here normally it's going to attack this guy in front. But if I put the ring on the guy at the back, and then I activate it here, it's going to prioritize the guy with the ring. So whoever has the ring is going to prioritize popping the ring. So your ring, didn't really mention this just now, but your ring on your W can be popped by your basic attack. It can be popped by, it can be popped by your Q, and it can also be popped by your E, and as well as your ult. Basically, any kind of attack pops your W. So, of course, this leads to your last ability. Alright, didn't really mention this, but I think it should be obvious. Your E obviously goes over walls. It's a complete blink, like that. And also, another thing about it is, a lot like Tristana's W, it has a buffer. So, if for example a Blitzcrank is going to hook you and you E before the hook connects, this is gonna teleport you to the new location, and you're gonna be able to tank the hook without actually getting hooked. Finally, your last ability is your ultimate. You guys have already seen it briefly just now. Basically, it just fires a wave like that, and it does deal decreasing damage to. I believe it does decreasing damage to future enemies. Let's see. Actually, yep. Nope, it kind of actually does the same damage to all enemies. It did a bit more damage to the second one because of Conqueror, but does the same damage against all enemies, and it does 50% less damage against minions and non-epic monsters. So it is a global ability you guys can see here. If we launch it straight down mid lane and we follow it along, it's gonna go all the way down mid lane, all the way to the other side of the map until it goes off the edge of the map. So that's his ultimate. So now we can show W attaching onto epic monsters. So here, let's actually just hit over. You can see that you can launch your W on the dragon, and you can just attack the dragon at like so. So obviously you want to use your W on the epic monsters when you want to do it faster. Of course, it does not work on small monsters. It doesn't even work on buffs. Only works on epic monsters, towers, and enemies. That's pretty much it for Ezreal's skills. Now we're going to talk about his leveling order. So here we're going to reset level. At level 1, you always want to take Q because it's your bread and butter damage ability. Level 2, you actually can choose between W and E. You can take W if you want to focus more on poke, because this is of course going to give you more damage. But personally, I like taking E for the safety. Then of course take whichever one you didn't take at level 3. You max Q first, and of course take your ult whenever available. Max your E second, and max your W last. Okay, so that is it for the leveling order. Now, combos, Ezreal honestly doesn't really have any. His combos are basically just your W combo, so you can WQ combo, or you can WE combo. Now, the WE combo is something that you should be very, very careful using. Your bread and butter combo is your WQ. You always want to WQ people to get that bonus damage. But WE should only be used either in the late game, or if you can guarantee a kill, because your E has a very long cooldown. Even you can see at level 15 it's a 14-second cooldown. At early levels it's like 25-26-second cooldown. You don't want to mess around spamming your E for no reason. So you want to only do the WE combo if you can guarantee you can kill this guy. So for example, you WE, Q, auto, and like the guy is dead or something like that. Then you can E in, because your E is really important to hold. So speaking of which, we can talk about the tips and tricks. One of the tips and tricks is actually to hold your E in lane, because in lane, your E has like a 20-plus-second cooldown. And if you use it aggressively, like for example, if you're in lane and you E forwards, for example, like this, you E forwards, your E is on cooldown, your enemies can take advantage and kill you, because everybody knows when Ezreal doesn't have his E, he's very, very vulnerable. Of course, he still has Flash, but you're going to have to expend Flash to escape, and it may not even work. So be very careful that, don't anyhow use your E. Next tip I have to give you guys is to ulti objectives. So remember, a lot like a Jinx ult, you can use your ult to steal objectives. So for example, here I'm going to aim for, the objectives. So here you guys can see I can use it to try to steal Dragon. I can use it to try to steal Baron or Herald, something like that. It's always worth a shot. And the final thing is, that a lot of people forget to do is don't forget to auto attack. So Ezreal is of course a spellcaster, so you generally use your abilities to deal damage, but don't forget to auto attack in between, and don't forget that your passive gives you more attack speed. So this is gonna actually allow you to attack really quickly, and you're gonna do a lot of damage. Not a lot of damage, but you're gonna do decent damage from your auto attacks as well, and you're losing out on a lot of damage if you don't auto attack. So don't forget to auto attack. And that is it for Ezreal's basic guide. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.